So here we are again, here at Wormagate Church, in the churchyard, and I'm just going to be painting up, as I said, what was behind me. There's a whole bunch of trees here, we can see them here. There's a field, a ploughed field here, a few posts, and that's really it. I'm just going to keep it very, very simple. So I'm going to start out with a large mop brush and my paint. The sky's now starting to change slightly, so I'm going to put the sky in first. I'm going to mix in some clear water to start with. Come down to the horizon, pop in the cerulean, but first, before we get there, we'll put in some raw sienna. Pop that in. Some cerulean, working up. Now we can have also a touch of ultramarine, keep this nice and liquidy. It's a very light sky, it's kind of going across there in bands. And now, so that's that, we'll get that in very quickly. Work bleeding down, look, there we go, and that's really it. Might add a bit more pigment up here just to help this come down a bit darker. That's the first part there of that. Then the underpinning colour on this soil again is going to be our raw super fast. Go around with those lines. It's going to dry quickly out here. Stage under the underpainting. Come back in a second to the next part. Okay, this is dry enough to begin the next phase of the painting. Sorry about the shadow here, but I'll come back to the sun. It's just the way it is for the moment. Gonna just feel if this is dry. Yeah, that's about ready. We're gonna put in the distant trees, so we're gonna get a bit of distance in with this blue. I'll pop that in all the way across. There we go. Touch a little bit of grey in here as well. Just to run along there. Just take this out. Just run this back up. That's the good thing about moving the board around. You can control that a bit. Let's just dry this foreground. I'm going for a bigger brush. Got some green starting to break through this plough field. And we'll just echo around in the shapes. I'll keep it really simple. Bit of dry brush there, and that's it. Done. Here I can put in some of the top branches of these trees, and they're just starting to bud as well. It's kind of leaning more towards a brown range. So we're going here for some burnt umber. Just popping in a few of these higher branches. Quite a big part of this position. Go a little bit darker in places. A bit of dry brush as well. The sun is incredibly warm for this time of year, absolutely burning my back. And there are a lot of shadows in here, which we'll deal with in a second. Added a little bit of Payne's Grey and ultramarine to this mixture, just to change it slightly. Still on the end of the brush, going up high now. It's a kind of mismatch of all kinds of directions, colours, energies. These kind of go all the way along, but I can just suggest that. I'll put in some ultramarine again into this mixture. For a grey kind of tint on there, but more of the burnt umber. Some dry brush coming down. All kinds of wiggly tree bits. I'll go off the page there with them. Hopefully we're going to be able to see this on the video. One going off there. So really 3 mixtures, just it's hard to say the way, as you're painting this, it's hard to keep saying which mixture. But it was the ultramarine, a little bit touch of Payne's Grey. Predominantly in this was the burnt umber. So that was that. You kind of just mixed a feel really, it's hard to explain. Just need to get this a bit stronger up here. There we go. Very peaceful out here. There's some real darks going on in here. So I want to try and capture that if I can by adding some more ultramarine into this mix. This whole thing here seems to be kind of in shadow. You could just fiddle around forever with this, because in nature, I mean, there are absolutely thousands, probably tens of thousands of branches, twigs, triggery. Can't have all that going on. But it's just getting a feel for the subject. It's the most important bit. Shapes of things as well. Shape's really important. Sharp. And blurred, that's what you need. Kind of contrasts. as well as sharp and blurred. Also need darks and lights. Otherwise it all becomes the same. Final one, you can hear these crows as they're all kind of nesting around. Dry brush in there, I'm kind of done that. I do want to soften this off here. Some shadows, so I'll probably pop those in now. It's a bit brave of me. This is the ultramarine and the crimson. And whatever was mixture was left in there. Lots of shadows in here. So we'll let that do its own thing there. There's the fence post here. I'm actually just going to take out with a bit of tissue while I remember. Just here. One there. So when that dries, there's a thinner one here. Won't be able to pop that back in. Roughly where those spaces are. Let's get in. Find a brush that's sort of suggestion of tracks going round. Echoing these pencil marks. Racetrack. But once we get some shadows in there, that'll sort itself out. I've lost a load of that. No, it's still gone. It's come up below battery, but I think it's still. Let's just get rid of this. Just clean that up a little bit. Going with this number 12 round brush. Going with some of this cad yellow. Touch of this mixture here. I did just a tiny touch of ultramarine in there just to green it up a little bit. We're going to go on side technique here. It might be a bit liquidy. It's kind of quite dry brush. Try the top. There we go. Just starting to come out. Just starting to come out. So you've got all the little chinks of light going through. You can hear the sort of dryness, that's what you want to be getting for this. Just a little bit of suggestions there. through, and we're almost done. I just want to put in another, there's a bunch of posts and things up there, but I want to put in, just finally, sort of green blue. This is the cerulean blue, and a touch of that green, just to bring in here the idea of something in front of the blues at the back there. I'm going to leave that here because that's quite nice with that light coming through. And then the final thing to do off on here, the very, very last thing, again, trust the ultramarine and crimson. Make sure we've got enough mixture for this. Wow, that's getting warm on my back. Is to come in with the shadow, and the shadows are quite big looking across there. It's in once, not messing about. Just come in a bit thinner as we go back. Popping a little bit more liquid in here, look, just like that run down, tip of the brush. Just to keep it nice and transparent. Just one other brush. Bringing out some suggestions of branches in there. That kind of pulls it together a bit, but I still want some darks in here. So we'll put in more pigment. And we'll touch in some of our brown mixture. Change the angle. That will warm it up a bit. There we go. Oh, that's what we needed. Just very lightly touch and let it do its own thing. Work its way down. That's it. I'm going to let it dry. Let it mix, let it blend, let it bleed. Put in a couple of these before it completely dries off. And we're done. I'm happy with that. I'm going to take off the ones around the outside. I know here we're still drying off, so that's a bit brave of me, but we can see what happens. It's all looking very nice. Always adds another 50% when you take off the tape. And you can get it off. Squeeze my back. There we go. And hopefully, if I put that up there, I'm careful here, we can see the beautiful quality of paint, beautiful way it goes on there. Job done. We'll just take a photograph so you can see the final paint, but I'm happy with that. Very atmospheric, captures the day. Happy painting, take care now. Remember to like, to subscribe, and ring that notification bell. And before we leave, there wasn't one deer. There was probably 10 deer all turned up, which is nice. And the cockerels are also saying goodbye. So there we go, from Wormagate Church in Norfolk. Happy painting.